Thank you so much for being here.
It would bankrupt 6 months later. That's where you hit that one.
So why don't we just start right away with some audience questions?
Yeah, we got our camera. Wait, we got two.
of this was off the script, how much was improv, and also you had this whole bunch of early films that were based on New York and the way that New York was in the old days.
Right.
Do you think that you could still do this now?
Do what? We just made a film now, the same way, so I could do it, now, 10 years from now,
Well, because of how much New
30
York has
years from now.
changed.
Well, can I do it in New York? I do it in Istanbul, it would look the same. Just go to Bushwick. Go to fucking Bulgaria. You know what I'm saying? How would you get this look? Go to fucking East New York. Go,
So how much
go to St. Louis.
how much of this film was improv?
Just don't go to Manhattan. Like they bought Manhattan for the Indians for $24. So how much did they buy it from us for? Nothing. They just took it. At least the Indians got $24. We got shit. So my city is now owned by an international cartel of fucking thieving motherfuckers. With Donald Trump as their leader.
How did you know to frame that, the ending on that fucker?
What? Ain't that funny? That's funny shit. I know. Because when your karma's right, you get it right.
So I think she's asking also about your directing style.
What?
Like,
Yeah, she always talks about my directing style.
well, I love his directing style. I
Yeah,
will
but
say
what
he
is it?
captures the duality of light and darkness in Man better than any other director. You know that. I've told you that a million times.
I know, but now it's getting tiring.
Now
So
she's
she always says,
over it.
Just a whole new crowd so you can get away with that shit. But
All
I
right,
heard that.
okay.
Duality of it.
So she wants to know.
Where? What do you mean?
Station on 42nd Street with the fucking ugly prick of all times who's like big name.
It was like an 18-day shooting, 3 days of shooting we just threw out, totally. But then when we had to do the R-rated version, we needed all that shit because that'd be 90 minutes and, you know what I mean? So that's like a disaster. But this is even a disaster because me singing on the end and all, you know, this doesn't have the Schoolie D soundtrack, so, which is, that's a story in itself. Because the original version has Schoolie D, which is, I mean, it's a whole different movie. You know, there's a song called the Signifying Rapper.
Based on Led Zeppelin, Cashmere.
Yeah, okay, right. And Led Zeppelin sued us for it, and we had to take it off all the prints. That's a tough one.
Who else has a question?
What happened with Schoolie D? Why is it in there?
Why?
Yeah.
Because they sued us. You know, Joey, right? I tell this 100 times, because Joey, every time we would do things, they'd always worry about, like, being sued. And I said, who the fuck is going to sue us? And my writer, Nikki St. John, was super paranoid about lines, reading other people's scripts. And I said, who the fuck is going to sue? I said, what do you think, the FBI? And, you know, I would always create this thing. Okay, we make the film is out. All of a sudden, Jimmy Page, who I like to say, if it wasn't for Robert Johnson, Robert Johnson's first album has every lick that motherfucker ever played. But that's all right. That's cool. Okay. I haven't liked Led Zeppelin anyway. We're Rolling Stones guys. This motherfucker sees this film. This song had been out, and I don't know what. He pitches a bitch, and next minute, this paranoia that these guys had, we're in court downtown. They're playing a 70-year-old judge, Signifying Rapper against Kashmir. But this was the beginning of this, sampling. And we were going to be the, whipping boys, so like, don't do it. And Schoolie ended up paying $60,000. And we had to take the fucking song out of the thing. Schoolie had to sign a thing, he'd never sing his own song again. Meanwhile, he took that fucking lick, it's in there anyway, I mean, it was all right, but I mean, he made the most beautiful song out of that. Signifying Rapper is one of the greatest pieces of American poetry in my book. And it fit the movie like perfect, and we had to take it out of all the things. And they had made video cassettes. And then the paranoia, it wasn't paranoia. The FBI took all these empty things, they stack them up in a garage somewhere, dump gasoline on them, and light them on fire. I swear to my mother. Okay, so like, who's gonna fucking sue us? You know how many times I told my brother, what do you think? The FBI is gonna come? And the FBI did. And so now so instead of like us rescoring it, I was so pissed off. We just turned the cassette player on, and me and Hips sang that song. And if you want to hear a worse version, tonight at 11 o'clock, we're gonna sing it again. Anyway, all right.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
This guy back here, but that.
Okay, we'll do those last two. Okay,
Yeah,
you and then you. So go ahead.
Yeah, hey, what's your thoughts on Herzog's Bandit?
I just did a film with the guy who shot it. Okay, so I'm a big, but I've never seen it. You know what I mean? But I've, I buried the hatchet with Nick Cage. But not about that. I had a bigger problem with Nick Cage. He was going to be in a funeral, and then he did the walking on that, he split right before we started shooting. So Herzog, he was somebody who we like adored, growing up. And he was like in a generation before me. So I was like a Geary. Those films blew us away. So, when I met him, he said, "Man, I didn't make that film to be called Bad Lieutenant." It wasn't supposed to be called Bad Lieutenant. It was supposed to be called Port of Call, New Orleans. And Pressman, they just said, yeah, great. Yeah, of course, we're going to call it Port of Call. And when the film was done, they put Bad Lieutenant on it. But those guys got paid. It's Pressman. And I'm not going to hold, I ain't going to have a resentment against these guys. The bottom line is, this film was made for not a lot of money and a lot of sweat and tears. And when they made that film again, it was made for a lot of money. And a lot of people got paid. You dig? And nobody that worked on this worked on that. So, all right.
Okay.
We got that.
Yep.
I've always been fascinated with your relationship with Schoolie D. You guys have worked together a few times.
Right.
He's one of the more underrated
figures in hip hop, he invented gangster rap, not Eazy-E.
Right.
And he still kind of gets overlooked. And I just wanted to know, like, how did you meet him? How did you maintain this like long relationship?
Yeah, Joey, how did we met him?
I think that you certainly met him well
Yeah, I
before
brought
I
it to the
did.
tape, because
Yeah,
these
he
guys weren't listening to rap music. I fucking adored it, you know. It was like, to me, the Dylan thing, you know. I was so into Dylan that this was, to me, wow. You know, when I first heard all that shit. So when we did King of New York, we were going to do the rap, you know, we would listen to rap guys. I heard the tape, his stuff, right? And, you know, I was fucking blown away. And we couldn't find them. You know, these guys were inner city, you know, they were inner city Philly, bro. They were selling the records out of a fucking trunk of a car. And, you know, like you said, I didn't even know any white people until I met you. You know, really, in a sense, it really was, these guys were hardcore. And I'm listening to his music, and you know, then it became like the Robert Johnson thing. Like, I knew, I remember I knew Ice-T, and I said, man, who's the Schoolie D, man? He says, yeah. I says, you've seen him, you've played with him. He says, actually, no, when we were going to do the show, he wasn't there. Then I go to somebody, it was like trying to find Robert Johnson. You know, like, then it became like, does this guy even fucking exist? You know? And then, they, you know, usually if you tell somebody you want to put the music in a movie, forget it. You never see, you know, you'll never get rid of them. These guys didn't give a shit. You know, really. And then finally, we did the movie. I said, fuck this. We're putting the music in a movie, and fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to that. I really love the music. I didn't want to take it out. I figured if we put it in, we'll fight it out in the end, you know. And he came to see it. And I was in Los Angeles, and Randy was there. And we're going to have a screening for these guys. And Randy was a skinny little Japanese dude. And they're having a screening. I said, they're coming? He goes, yeah, they're coming. And then I talked to him. I says, what's going on? And I knew, and you know, a lot of these songs of his, we played them backwards, we slowed them down, speeded, you know, we fucked with all this. I didn't know what the guy was going to think. And I was calling him. I says, are they there? He goes, yeah, there's like 6 dudes here. Like a limousine pulled up, and you know, these are some big dudes. You know, they're coming out, and he's there by himself. But he loved it, and then we became very connected. You know, we stayed. Schoolie played with us. He played here last year. He came here. Who saw? Who was telling me how to blew his mind?
It was
Who
amazing.
was just telling me about him? Oh no, the
Gene, maybe?
The other,
Yeah,
the
Gene,
other camera person. Yeah, he's an artist. He's a painter. He's a poet. You know, he's a poet like fucking Keats and Shelley. I mean, he's an awesome fucking.
Little known fact, he composed the theme song for Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Too. A lot of people
The property what?
The Aqua Teen Hunger Force. It's a famous cartoon on Cartoon
Right.
Network. He composed that.
yeah.
Okay, cool. We have to wrap this up because we have another screening. So thank you guys for coming. Musicians at 9:15, and then come back at 11 for the jam. Thanks, guys. I have to
Is this the
say,
same crowd?
no, it's a different crowd. A lot of the same faces. I mean, this is what a beautiful film. What did you shoot on?
Oh, here she is. What'd she do? So,
What'd you shoot on?
we got our shooters. What did they shoot on? We shot on 35 negative, black and white.
And how? Can we turn the lights down? Yeah. How did you come up with the lighting concept? I mean, it's so beautiful. I feel like
We don't have a lighting concept.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we just go out and shoot. And then we painted the walls black. That was a big, brilliant concept. Black and white movie, paint the walls black.
Yeah, it looks great. The music
Right.
is also incredible.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
have to say-
your buddy Russell Simmons. You
Yeah.
guys know who Russell Simmons is?
Yeah.
Persona non grata. But he financed my movie, you know, so now he's a friend of ours. And, without Russell, there wouldn't be no movie. So
It's
he
amazing.
got the money, you know, against all odds, and he did it.
I think that also might be Christopher Walken's. I mean, I think that's my favorite time I've ever seen him on screen. So I mean, I think it was so incredible. How did you?
All right, there, you got it. Don't stress us out. She sings upstairs. And it's a highly politically correct situation. You know. Okay, so who's got a good question? Or you want to keep asking these crazy
No, it's
questions?
fine.
He's got the
All right.
No,
No.
he asked the last one. Okay, yeah, you got it.
No, I just.
What do
want-
you really want to know about this movie?
I really want
That
to
you think
know.
I can answer? Now that I'm here.
I mean, I want to know everything about Christopher Walken coming into this because I feel like he's like some guide into life.
Who
Like,
else is going to play a vampire like that?
No one, exactly. So
Right.
did you write it? You wrote it exactly for him. He came, he delivered, or did he improvise this? How did that happen?
No, it was, I never asked him. This kind of dialogue is not improvised. I mean, this is a screenplay. It was a written screenplay, and Christopher don't like to improvise. He if he has to, he will, but I mean, he does Shakespeare, he does plays, he does things. Nicky is a great writer, and Walken wants to read great, words. You don't want to get up there and start making shit up. He does Shakespeare. He wants to see fucking shit that fucking makes sense. And, we had a writer that, could fucking write. And,
Great.
so, what was, it was funny. It was like, because, okay, so it was this was like a no-budget movie, a really low budget. Yeah, guys, stop with
No
this.
flash.
Stop with
Yeah,
this
let's
shit, bro.
stop
Come on,
flash.
give me a fucking
Okay.
break, okay? I mean, you can take all the pictures you want. Don't blind me. Okay? I remember, it was like a designer. She was a wardrobe designer. It was like her first or second movie, and she was like really like this girl. She's so worried about singing "House of the Rising Sun." Right now, she's the whole night. The whole thing now is about her. What key we gonna sing this dopey song in?
All right.
Okay. No, but I can't wait to do it because I want to sing that song with you. This week she was singing upstairs with a jazz band. And okay, so the chick was stressing over. The woman was stressing over the whole deal. Like she wanted me to walk in. And we go. This was another woman. And we were gonna go up, and it was at night, and she wanted to know, well, what was he gonna wear, and was he gonna look, and was the thing like, what's gonna be looking? Yeah, like what you said. Like, what's gonna be looking at a movie? Who the fuck knows? When we're done, we'll see. So he lives up like on a scary, like 83rd near like the Museum of Natural History. It's just one of these scary brownstone blocks. So at night, if you look at it, it's kind of scary. And we go, and the door opens, and he's dressed, and he looks exactly like what you think a vampire would fucking look like. And she wanted to go to his house to look at his clothes. Like his closet was all black clothes. And he made it in the clothes he had on. And his house and everything about it was like just matched it. I mean, we don't have to match it. Just tell him to show up. We don't have to worry about the look. We don't have to worry what he was going to have. She was worried if she was going to get along with him. Anyway.
So did she design the set, or that was just there?
No, she was the
wardrobe. But so who did the production design? Like that
I have
loft
no,
is incredible. Did you
That's
help with
novels.
that?
That's novels.
Oh,
Which
amazing.
loft? The loft.
Yeah, where
he
Christopher
was-
Walken lives,
That's
yeah.
Julian's house. That was Julian's
Amazing. The
novels.
palazzo or before?
What do you mean?
The palazzo he has in the West Village, was it there?
That's it. That's the one over by the meat
Yeah.
market district.
Perfect vampire
Yeah,
house.
when it was a meat market district, you know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
was a funky place, and he had like an elevator that's no longer an elevator, and
Yeah.
the meat market. It was like 1993, 94, New York City.
Yeah, it looks great. Okay, so let's open it up to the audience. Who has a question? Yes.
Yes, blood. What did you use for blood in The Addiction? And even I would like to know for Driller Killer and for Miss 45.
Yeah, the blood is always a bitch because they always give me this red shit that doesn't, it's like the darker the better. I mean, that's one of the reasons we shot this, I think, in black and white, because the blood would be black. you know, so I think we just went full tilt dark. You know,
Do you know
really
what
dark.
you used, or do you remember what you used? Did you use chocolate syrup, or was it like a?
I think we had somebody doing it, but, you know, we usually make our own blood, actually. It's like, we're really, I mean, at the time, not no more, but well, actually, I just did a film where we shot somebody the other day, actually. And it was the same thing, I'm saying, this blood looks like pink, man. But, you know, you know, it's whatever the mix is, you know, but you could, it's like we just keep pushing it dark. But if, you know, if you cut yourself, it's kind of red. I mean, it's strange, you know. But you know, that's the black and white gives that to you. So when the blood is that black, it gives you like that very eerie kind of thing, you know.
Another question, yeah.
Hi, I read that Annabelle Sciorra's part was originally cast for a man. Why
Yeah,
did
it was
you-
Walken got the script, and he took the female role, not even knowing it was female or male. He just took the script, picked the part he wanted, and so when we went this time to rehearse with him, I'm thinking he's going to do the beginning because that was written for the male, you know. And he started to do Annabella's role. And then I had to tell Annabella, oh, yeah, by the way, the guy took your part. Now you got to attack the chick at the beginning of the movie.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like a, you know, it just shows all these parts are interchangeable. Women can play men's part, men's play women. It's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I almost feel like it worked out better this way. Another question. Don't be shy, guys, come on.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there you go.
Getting back to the loft and the elevator,
Right.
was that supposed to remind us of Catherine Deneuve in The Hunger?
Of who?
The movie The Hunger with Catherine Deneuve
Tony
and
Scott's
David Bowie and Susan
yeah.
David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve, Susan Sarandon.
Where she
I
gets
mean,
to die in the
I don't
disco.
think intentionally. I mean, I'm sure we saw them because I was watching the vampire. They made a bunch of vampire movies right at that time, you know. But The Hunger was made before, right?
Yeah,
But then there was another
two.
two, actually, that all came out at the same time.
But I almost
Yeah,
feel
which
like
ones?
that this is such a metaphor. So like, it's not really about that. I mean, do you think like your addiction came into play like when you were writing this? Like, how does that go for you?
For mine, I wasn't a junkie when I started making. I think this is when I first started doing heroin. Was during this film, just by chance. Not that it was intentional. No, but Nicky was writing it, and he never did drugs or he never drank, but he just wrote it. But he knew I guess he researched it. She. I don't think she did heroin, but she had an alcohol habit that she had kicked. Lily, so she, at that time, was like pretty, we were just getting high. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. She had been in recovery and understood the whole deal. The thing about a vampire, that story is seen everywhere, in like cave walls, in every culture, at any time. That idea of the undead, of like living off of the host, of that is like, it's scary that it's in every culture, everywhere. That story, disconnected, but is there. So that's like a kind of a universal story in a scary way, But the idea of the young I mean, how romantic, but I mean, it's like pure evil, right? I mean, pure evil, you're living off other people, in that thing. So I don't know how romantic can a vampire really be? Impossible to be romantic. It's not I mean, now it gets played that way, but it's like, that's an evil motherfucker. I mean, it's an evil concept. It's a concept of pure evil,
And you take it so far. I mean, like that last like scene where it's almost like this wild orgy, but just of like pure horror and evil. Like what?
Yeah.
How is it shooting that, and how did you get them in that mindset for that?
I mean, the actors come with it. I mean, you got Calderon, you got the actors. I mean, that's, they come in, to play, you know, I mean, it's a gas, you know, I mean, they were like, you know, it's like it comes from, Lily and her group were like studying animals, eating, you know, there's a documentary, we should show, there's a documentary, I just interviewed Lily Taylor and them for this, it's like a re-release of the Blu-ray of this. It's called Talking with the Vampires, and we actually went back and saw Chris. We hadn't seen him in a while. Lily, I haven't seen since we made this movie, and we interviewed her, but she was talking about it, doing all that. Then they were studying that, and they're enacting, and they got their, you know, their training, and they're, I'm sure, working at home. Imperioli, they were all a big group of actors, and you know, Annabella, she's loaded. She just says, "Give me that blonde, chubby girl. That's the one I want." Okay. So you got both sides of the spectrum.
I have
Annabelle didn't do any, you know, she wasn't working on it at all.
I feel like the other scene that was so amazing is when Lily takes that girl from college
Yeah.
and
Kid Urban.
yes, and how upset she gets.
Somebody bites in the
mirror.
fucking neck.
Yeah, right. So how did you get her
She
there?
goes somewhere to do homework. What?
How did
She
you-
was from, she's from you know, she's from Malkovich's group, right? I mean, they're actors. They come with it. I mean, I don't get them anywhere.
You do. You're the director. You're giving them
but
guidance.
the director isn't supposed to. The actor delivers the fucking acting. I deliver the directing. It's like, I'm not there. No, really, it's really kind of there. If I gotta be there, inspiring the fucking, or telling act what to fucking do, it's fucking all over, bro. I mean, it's like, no, really, it's not that thing, you know. I mean, you know, you cast people. She was like, you know, a serious actress from a serious acting place who understood the thing, who was, you know, I mean, I wasn't. There was nowhere to get. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know, we didn't just pick somebody off the street and say, okay, you know what we're gonna do? You're gonna get bitten in the neck by some chick right now because the girl, you know, right? Because the girl was gonna play the part. You're running out of the street. The girl was gonna play the part, didn't come. So now I got to go find somebody working at McDonald's.
So you believe the directing is in the casting then?
The what?
So that you believe the directing's in the casting then? Your job.
I believe the actor has got to. The actor does the acting, and I do the directing, and the DP does that, and the editor does that, and the composer does the composing, and then we put it all together. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, we create a space that the actor is going to act in.
Right.
You know, that's I guess what we do. You know, there's a feeling of trust, a feeling of freedom, a feeling of goodwill, you know? I mean, karma, like, let's rock, bro, you know, fuck, we got a camera, we got film, fuck. You know what I mean? You're an actor, we got the shit, let's go, you know? We're gonna get big, I mean, these are cool scenes, I mean, we got a script that has one cool scene after another, you know?
Yes.
Who was your resident academic?
Yeah.
No, it was Nicky wrote that script. He had gone to, he was a, you know, had gotten his master's in Würzburg University in philosophy in German. You know, I mean, we grew up together in Peekskill, but he was like, you know, we barely got out of high school. He was going to study, you know, philosophy in German. No, he knew what the fuck he was talking about, and you know, he's a very, you know, spiritual dude, and the belief in not, you see, you know, it's funny playing these two movies together because Bad Lieutenant, Nicky wouldn't even write Bad Lieutenant, and he could care less about, you know, the idea of a guy, you know, in like some kind of spiritual crisis, you know, because with Nicky there is no spiritual crisis, you know, there's the light, and the light is there, and the light comes from, you know, I'm a Buddhist, okay, so I'm not believing in that guy, but he believes in that. You know, and he believes, you know, in that, the awakening, the rebirth. You know, she's a lost soul. She found it in the light of the body of Christ. Okay, that's his position, and it's laid out, and it's not like gray or, you know, there's not a lot of ways of looking at this film. You know, there's only one way. She's reborn. She's rebirthed. She was reborn when she accepted the body of Christ. So, like I say, I'm a Buddhist, but I'm smart. I'm not as smart as Nikki, but I'm smart enough to get the point.
Oh, it's just so she's reborn. We're meant to understand that she's reborn, like she's no longer a vampire.
No, she's no longer a vampire. She's risen from the evil. She's changed. She is a totally changed person. Her addiction is kicked. She's saved. She's a recovered vampire. She's clean and sober. You know, she's found the light. She's found the spiritual side of the world. You know, and she didn't find it at NYU. She didn't find it hanging out in the fucking streets. You know, she found it in surrendering and accepting. You know.
Yeah.
What was the last?
What is the new
What?
the new film project you're working on now?
Yeah.
What is it? And also, will you ever shoot again on black and white?
Would I shoot in black and white? I don't think so, but never say never. I'm not, this came out of a world where, this is we're as New York filmmakers. It's not just the New York directors. There's the New York cinematographers. Michael Chapman, Gordon Willis. Guys who shot Raging Bull, the guy who shot Manhattan. So those are like epic works. So those guys were shooting black and white, so they kind of like opened the door to. Plus, all the films that really mattered for us were in black and white. And so I figured it was a $500,000 film. It was like, if we didn't shoot this in black and white, we're not going to shoot anything. This was like the Last Chance Saloon. I knew it, and we did it. And we did it hardcore. That's not like color film that we went for it. We bought the negative. We bought it black and white. There was nobody going to colorize it.
It's beautiful. It's beautifully lit. I mean, it's a gorgeous black and white film.
Yeah, well, Kelsey's got, when he's in a mood, he can fucking do it. When everybody's inspired, it does. And New York is just made to be shot that way, And it's, black and white's a beautiful way to shoot. But, you're not going to, I don't know, man. You gotta, you gotta use the color. You gotta learn to use the color like that. You can do it. It's just tough.
Okay, let's do one more question, and then they're
The
gonna.
new film. He wants to do the new film.
What? Oh,
The new film
sorry.
is like, if anybody saw 444, this film I made Last Day on Earth? One person saw it. Okay, anyway, I was living with this woman in downtown New York. So Willem then is living with the same woman, only there's a camera. So I'm living with a woman and a child in Rome, and now Willem comes and lives. It's like we're doing 444 Part 2. So now he lives my life, and we film it. So we got the filming done. We haven't done the editing yet. But we did the score. We're going to play some of the score. That's what we're going to do with the music tonight. I get like nervous about the music because the soundtrack's so good, awesome on that. Oh no, we got our new superstar. We got Willie Holiday over here.
One more question, and then we'll.
Then we'll do what?
Okay. You're gonna jam. Okay, ask your question. Go for it. Yeah. Yeah, you.
I want to know if you have a favorite film out of all the films.
She wants to know, do you have a favorite film out of all the films you've made?
Oh yeah.
No, because it's like these films at this point, it's like, it's hard to tell, I know the difference between Bad Lieutenant and The Addiction, but it's not like, I got like some, it's not, I can't even think about it like that. Yeah. Like one big fucking film, like one whole movie, like one long film that's not ended yet, because we're still fucking doing it, So I'm gonna tune this guitar. Joey's he's gonna play from the movie.
All right.
Who's this fucking? Anybody is dying to ask a question?
Anyone else? One last question. All right, you ready to rock and roll, Abel?
Here, hold this.